Welcome back to Indian Trace. What you're looking at, of course, many of you know, are banner stones, atlatl weights. Half of every atlatl weight that I've ever found. Just half. The other 6 or 7 or 8, I've decided they had a better home to go to. But I have some comments to make about these, and I had a shout out, excuse me, to see these again for some of you that are new on here, and I see some people who are making comments more regularly that haven't been around or just tuned in or maybe just subscribed. You know, that's how it changes all the time. So some of you have seen this, and I've done some specials. It'll be nothing like this. I have some comments I have to make, particularly unique. Because what you're looking at, and I'll just go ahead and open it with this. Of course, these are the artifacts of the North American Indian. And I want to comment on these and talk about these as I make a few really important political interest points today. Just some things that struck me that are particularly different. We're going to take a step outside this country. And we're going to take a step right into the country that we know as Russia. It's not the Soviet Union anymore, but right into Russia. But just a great still life view of some of these. Thank God they're not going to be busted up anymore, right? Just a good look from every angle you can think of. We're going to pick them up and check them out. But listen, this is what I have to say to begin with. The banner stones here. There's a particular mystery with a lot of theories that surround these stones. Some people in the country find plenty and find whole ones that blow me away. They find particularly different ones with no holes in them or whatever. Here in eastern North Carolina, I've never found one like that. All we have is this particular crescent moon type, as you can see here, and you can see here. Fantastic, no doubt about it. But that's what we have. I mean, I would have known the evidence of it at this point. And here are the facts as we take a look at this. And we'll go right through them and check them out. Listen to these facts as we sail along. Excuse me. Now, an awesome one in sort of a red stone. It's been hit, smacked with the plow and what have you. But there's 6 display pieces here. As I said, I might have found a total of 12, 13, 14 of them altogether. What's that mean to some people who are just here collecting altogether? Well, I've found and collected in 5 years, which is a short amount of time. And look at how this has been hit, but look beyond that to the beauty of what a piece like this must have looked like when it was complete. The shape of it, that is. Looking beyond that, in the last 5 years, I've found approximately 11,000 artifacts here throughout the areas that I can look and find stuff here in eastern central North Carolina, coastal Piedmont area. Look at the drill. As many of you have seen these pieces, but just to give you a good look at these things as slow as I can go, just up close and personal, because I have now realized without a shadow of a doubt how rare they are, and had some good discussions from here to Tennessee to Missouri about the rarity of these pieces. That's why I brought them back out and wanted to honor them a little further. Imagine what that would look like as a full piece. I can't even imagine. But that's okay. That's just the way it works. And you can see the texture of how they drilled it. Impressive, right? Put that piece right there for now. So if I have 12 pieces, and I'm not talking I found other smaller broken pieces or what have you. I have not. Not at all, for the most part. And so out of 11,000 artifacts, you're talking about a dozen, 2 dozen. That's rare. Why the rarity, you know? I've talked and discussed these things just in theory with some other collectors. And I've come to think that there's a dispensational limit to these as well. And he even mentioned that to begin with. And what a dispensational rarity means is that these probably were used exactly for the reason that anthropologists believe, as weights, counterweights for the atlatl. But because of things like how much they contributed to the atlatl, which you do not need them for an atlatl. It's been proven. Primitively, from Africa to here, you do not need a banner stone or a counterweight to make it work successfully. So there could have been, as we look at these pieces, although they're broken, they are rare and awesome finds. There could have been a contributing factor involved. There could have been a factor of what I call functionality, that they just were not functionally as effective as they needed to be. And so within a period of possibly 200-300 years, maybe 400 years, maybe 1,000 years, which is small, it could have been a 500-year period, these were used and then phased out, gone. They could have become an extinct product. And just think about that as you look at these. A product that dispensationally only existed for a flash in the pan, for just a little time here. And that's why we don't find too many, as opposed to many, many, many of the other artifacts that they needed vitally, like scrapers and, of course, projectile points. So as we take a look at these, that's a fantastic thought for me. I think it's the only logical theory right now, because we'd find a whole lot more. I'd see more pieces, more broken pieces, etc., but they're just not there. They're not there in all the places I go. Now, some people, whether they find different things like gorgets or what have you, Great Basin man finds some incredible stuff. I don't even know what to call it all. That's similar in terms of hard stone work, but look at these pieces. Here, nah, you just don't. Look at the drilling on these though. Probably re-drilled, as some of you guys have educated me. But just absolutely incredible. And now that I go into it, after talking with an anthropologist friend of mine in New Mexico and what have you, I really tend to think that what we're looking at is something that was an extinct product. Now, stone tools such as arrowheads and projectile points and everything, about in the year 1400 AD became an extinct product, that's for sure. It stopped almost overnight. 150 years, stone tool production came to a screeching halt with gunpowder and knives, and the Iron Age and the age of metals hit them like a freight train with guns and pots and pans and all sorts of things that just turned over their hunter-gatherer society. These were quite a different reason, probably, that they ceased being produced. Great stuff to look at, though. Great stuff to have. Very incredible. Now I see that display quality pieces really, when it comes to the banner stones, don't have to be whole. Sir, we found whole. One out of maybe a total of 15 that I found has been whole, which many of you are familiar with that piece. And I've had some good offers, but I'm just not going to sell it. It's just the way it is. I mean, this piece right here is just made out of something like jade or what have you, and we'll look at it. As we turn the corner here, let me make some comments as we look at this. This was found in opening sand, the only one of its kind. I haven't found any real thin banner stone type of stones, but they're made, and I've seen pictures of them. Look at this picture. Now here's the comment. You know, I came across some understanding, an American understanding, which I knew immediately was wrong, because I've been over, that is on the internet, to study what's going on in Russia and what Vladimir Putin is actually like. I've listened to hundreds, if not thousands, of his words, dozens and dozens of his speeches. This is an interesting piece right here, to understand what he's like as a leader. So what a real leader is like makes a real big difference in our lives, whether it's a father who's leading his family or what have you. And so today's political interest is all about what a real leader is. That's an interesting piece, isn't it? Just crazy. Was drilled right down there, was so thin. Once it took a hit right here, it just broke it in half. Never came across a second half that comes close to matching the original halves that I find out here. Just really interesting pieces, though. I mean, look at that now with the contrasts. And so there was a conflict recently, a released political interest link, and I do want to make a comment of this as we just keep checking these out, that had to do with the Syrian conflict, of course, right? But had to do with the city of Palmyra. Now, you're going to hear, and I want you to watch very closely, the president of Russia. Here's another great piece right here, found over near Stone Mountain. This was an interesting piece because look at how it broke. No, I'm not losing my train of thought. Just trying to take my time a little bit. Got broken right there. What great work this was, though, you can tell. And you see that right there. I saw it on the ground just like that. Just a thing of beauty. So, not making it too long here. Here was the misunderstanding. Heard somebody making a comment that Vladimir Putin was just reckless murderer, that he just killed people who disagree with him and everything. Listen, you have been propagandized if you truly believe that in your heart. It's not true. It's not true for the most part. Listen to how he talks about his nation, his people, his soldiers, and what he does for them, where he goes, how he talks with people, how he converses with them. Uh, Scratch your head, because it's very common in terms of being a decent human being, the way he acts, the way he speaks. I follow him daily. I follow him weekly and find out exactly what's going on. There's no specific in your spirit deception, if you will. So that's a nice piece right there. The reason I say that is because there is a great varying degree because of how Americans have been abused by Western media, lies. So all in all, the multiple deaths that have happened for his diplomats and everything, this person actually thought it was Putin that was doing it, killing his own people. To do what? To make a point? No. There's inside agents and agents that support globalism. Inside agents now has been revealed in the CIA who made specific attacks and specific executions on diplomats, unfortunately, of Russia within the last 3 months. It's disgraceful. Putin has had patience. He's known what was going on. He's known the lies that try to uphold and support the agenda, the narrative that they want, which is an aggressive Russia narrative, which is not true. Listen to the people of Russia. Go back, do your homework. Just go on the internet. You will hear people there who are not fooled. They're not, for the greatest part, propagandized. I think we all are to some degree, but they're not fools. Listen to them. Listen to the leader in this political interest report on Syria and Palmyra. And as we look at this, I'm going to make this last point because this is an incredible piece. So important, because what the president and this important man, Putin, makes a comment about is very interesting. And the interpretation is great by Anessa S. Look at this piece, as you've seen it before. I mean, look at these, broken. And this, and remember how rare what you're looking at is. How rare it is. It's incredibly rare. And we got another rare product coming with another video that I'll put up today. I just had some extra time, just had some fun to hang out here. If I can get the focus to work and the light, you will see how they made their way in here, probably with sand, and it's just completely worked. You'll see the working tool marks and what have you. Just incredible. And so the last comment would be is in Syria, in Palmyra, in the last 1.5 months, Russia has made an initiative to absolutely hammer ISIS and destroy them. I completely agree. President Trump completely agrees. The Clinton administration and the Obama administration did not agree with destroying ISIS. Supported ISIS in Palmyra for the last 2 years, provided weapons so that ISIS grew to a place that was out of control, and they started to destroy Syria. That is the truth of the whole conflict that's going on. That had to stop. Even Trump ran on a campaign that said these things have to stop. Funding Islamic terror has to stop. I know people don't want to even admit that President Obama did that, but he did, and it's clear. There's not even a contention about that anymore. It's clear, it's obvious. And Putin makes comments about and alludes to the fact that, listen, Western agents in the United States have been in Palmyra, have been in Syria for 2 years, and how come ISIS has only grown? So they took a 1.5 months and have gone and hammered and destroyed ISIS. Done with. Finished with their Russian special forces. That is who Trump said he would like to agree with. That is the kind of effort that Trump, in Americanism, in protecting this country, wants to agree with. I want to agree with it. So as we've got a real good look, and I've just sort of made a slow look at these, if you don't get to see them that often or don't get to find them, And as I said before, when I found this piece that you're looking at from as many angles as I can get, I didn't even know what it was. Believe it or not, this is going to shock you. I wasn't even sure if I would keep it. I almost, because the hole was filled, and I was such a novice, chucked it in the woods. Now, I would have since gone back and fished it out. I would have found it if I had to crawl around. Nice piece. It was banged up, but it's never going to get hit again. It is as smooth as it looks. It's probably a jade material, highly valued, traded in. But as we were looking at here, and it's just a great look and lineup as we finish, consider what I said about those political interest points. Judge for yourself what a real leader is. And then get on board with supporting somebody that your conscience is right with. Being an advocate out there to help other people understand, to do those sort of things is invaluable. So from Indian Trace to you, I think you're looking at an extinct product that went extinct pretty quickly within a 500-year window. The contributions and the functionality of banner stones probably was not a long period of time that these were functional. And they just didn't see that they added a whole lot to their hunting, to gaining their needs. It's just a theory. And so they became an extinct product fairly quickly. That's why we don't find so much. But all in all, it's just a fantastic look at that. And I sure hope you find some as well out there. From Indian Trace to you, have a good one.